Hey Fit Fam, I wanted to share something with you guys that I think is going to motivate and inspire you. Let me come downstairs. It was last year, it was the end of last year, I think. And for those who don't know, I work for the largest virtual school in Georgia. And I was asked by my boss to put on a presentation. And she told me about the premise of the presentation, what she wanted me to do, how long it needed to be about. And I was so excited. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I heard maybe 75% of what she had to say. I was so excited. I had ideas just bouncing around in my head. And again, I only heard about 75% of what she was wanting, but I got the gist of it. Anyway, so we get off the phone and I'm immediately, and that was on a Tuesday, I'm immediately like going to work, putting things together. I got my ideas. I'm jotting my ideas down and putting my PowerPoint together. She did mention, now this was on a Tuesday, she did mention that she wanted to see my presentation by Thursday because the presentation needed to happen by Friday morning at 9:30. So I'm like, cool, I can get it to you by the night. She was like, no, slow down. Get it to me Thursday. Just get it to me Thursday. So I'm like, oh, okay, I got this, right? So I am up. I am literally up from the morning Tuesday all the way up until Thursday. I slept a little bit here and there, but I was literally up. I was stressed. I was pressed. I was nervous. I had practiced my presentation, recorded myself, tweaked some things. I even presented my presentation in front of my husband, and he was like, bravo, bravo. And I'm like, see, that ain't what I wanted you to do. I needed some critique. I needed some, you could do better in this area. No, but see, you're my husband. You're supposed to say yes, and that's not what I wanted, right? So I presented in front of my cats. I was just going on, and literally I began to slowly but surely lose my mind. Thursday come. I'm still tweaking, taking things out, putting things in. My boss, she texts me, hey, go ahead and send me your presentation. I said, I'll get it to you in a few. I'm wrapping some things up. Thursday night, about 4 or 5 o'clock, I send it to her. The next day is Friday, right? And I'm nervous. I'm so nervous that I can feel my heart beating. Like I am, and plus I was not sleeping. I was barely eating. I was not taking care of myself, to be honest. So that morning, okay, I go to the gym, come home. I get an email from her. I think it was an email. And I just love my boss. She's amazing. And she basically said in the nicest way possible, this ain't what I asked you to do. So immediately my heart drops. I am devastated. I just was not in a good place. Not to mention I was not getting sleep. So she said basically, don't worry about it. She was finalizing a backup plan because you have to, just in case people get sick. Things happen. People drop the ball with a presentation like me. And, so she was finalizing or whatever. And she says there will be other opportunities for you to do this, to present. I was sick. I was sick as a dog. I had reached out to my lead, who I adore, and I just was on the verge of tears in telling her what happened. The first thing my lead said to me was, Maya, go to bed. Like, don't work, just go to bed. And so I took an Advil PM and I went to sleep. And she said, call me when you wake up. So I don't even think I called her. I just didn't want to talk about it anymore. I was already embarrassed to have to tell my husband what had happened. And I was embarrassed, right? So I think it might have been Saturday or Sunday or whenever I had reached out to my lead and I told her what happened. And because in my world, I failed. I failed a number of people. I failed the group that I was supposed to present to. I had failed my boss. I had failed my lead, right? Because we represent such a small part of the counseling team. I really wanted to show up and show out, and do my best and improve why I should still be here, right? And so I talked to my lead, and she talked to me, and she talked me off of the ledge, so to speak. And she said to me, Maya, number one, you have to calm down. And to be honest, I hate when people tell me to calm down, but I needed to hear that. And then she shared a similar story with me. I won't go into detail with that story, but basically this happens to everyone. And in my mind, it was happening to me. And no one has been through this but me, right? That's how the enemy works. He wants to isolate you into thinking you're the only one, right? Not true. So she says, I told her I needed to make this right. What did I need to do? And she was like, Maya, redo the presentation. Redo the presentation and send it to our boss. So I did that. I did that and I sent it to her, and my boss was like, Maya, there was no need to redo it. She was like, there will be other opportunities, but thank you for redoing the presentation. It took a while, I'm not gonna lie, for me to kind of come down off of that because I was really just sick. I was sick. So short of the long, I had to present today, which is why I have all of this on, and I have on my husband's boxer shorts, but no one can see that. But from up here, I look pretty professional. And I vowed to myself, I knew that I was going to do this presentation last week. So I slowly went through the presentation, and the last few days it was just about tweaking, changing some things, and, talking in front of the camera, and not only talking about what I was presenting on, but making sure I come across confident. And needless to say, I had no worries this time. And it had nothing to do about the content in which I was preparing. It had everything to do about me. Like, I have nothing to prove. I work here. I've been here for 16 years almost. I'm an asset, right? And that's not to seem cocky, but I have to remind myself of that because the enemy is telling me I am not worthy, right? I'm gonna fail. These are the things that the enemy is whispering in my ear. So I have to counter that with something positive. Maya, you have this. Maya, you can do this. Slow down, breathe, make sure you sleep, make sure you eat before a presentation, which, side note, a big thing for me is I have to eat before I present. If I don't eat, so make sure I have my snack foods, my approved snack foods. Anyway, so I did my presentation. And another thing, because I was presenting virtually and not in person, what helps me is I have to move those Zoom squares out of the way. I cannot see a chat. I cannot see people's expression. It's going to totally throw me off. And for me, and maybe this is helpful for you, is a script. If I don't have a script, I am liable to I'm supposed to talk about health and fitness, and I'm liable to talk about a trip to Antigua. That's how my brain works. I'm so freaking scatterbrained. So I immediately moved those Zoom squares out of the way, and I just had my script. And that way I was forced to read my script and then reminding myself to look up into the camera and slow down. The first 10, 20 seconds, I was a little nervous, and then I just woosah. I calmed down and just went through the content. And when I was done, I went back through the comments and I got some really good feedback, and that's it. That's all. So, and I think it's so funny. It's like, Maya, you stress over presenting over Zoom, but you have no problems getting on stage and competing with a two-piece bikini. Yes, I do that. But when I get on stage, I'm just as nervous. I'm thankful to God I don't have to speak. It's just I have to present, right? But the first 30 seconds to a minute, I am literally standing up there like, what in the are you doing up here? What are you doing? This doesn't even make sense. You got 9 times out of 10, it is white men judging you like cattle. Does this even make sense? Is this even right? So I think anytime I'm supposed to present a package of any capacity, that is what happens. I don't have that talking to a camera because initially I'm talking to a camera, right? And I don't see people. However, I do struggle with uploading because I'm just like, and I do struggle with rewatching my video before I upload. I can't hear my voice. It's just, I don't know. I'm working on that. So I'm here to say, whatever your struggle is, push through. Push through with positive affirmations, remembering who you are in Christ, and just taking a second for yourself. That's something else I had to do is before I went into the meeting this afternoon, I just took a second for myself. I walked around, I looked at myself in the mirror, I sprayed deodorant because I sweat. I'm a sweaty girl. I talk to myself in the mirror and I'm like, girl, you got this. And more than you got it, God has you. And just allow God to speak through you, Maya, right? And when you allow God to speak through you, that's when your confidence comes from. That's when you are validated by the Lord. It's just so much positive that can happen. So whatever is holding you back, if God says you're supposed to move forward, but you're holding yourself back, I want you to reevaluate. I really do. And push through. I always talk about, and I always give the analogy about building a muscle. Muscles don't happen overnight. They happen over time, but they have to be broken. The muscle fibers must break, and that's painful. So you have to lose sometimes, right? Before you can win. And you got this. And not because I got it, because we serve a God who's perfect. We're not, but He is. So push through. You got this. I thank you all for listening. I just wanted to share because I literally just got out of my meeting, and I want to thank you all again for subscribing to my channel. I love you all so much, and thank you for listening. You have a blessed one.